How we doing, everybody? Welcome to it. This is the Weekly Wave. I have no idea what episode it's been. It's been a while since I got back on here and did this, so it feels good to be back. I'm just getting home from a 3-day run in Indianapolis and Kansas City with the recipe. It was a kick-ass weekend. Thanks to everyone that came out. For anyone that's a new listener, a new viewer based on the weekend, thank you so much for hanging. And thank God we made it. Wow, it's always an adventure. People getting sick all over the place, and there's vehicle issues and stupid shit, and you just gotta hold up. But hey, this week on the Wave, my guests are KJ Wilde. That features my man John Worthy and his duo partner, who I'm forgetting her name right now. Let me look this up real quick, because that's just inappropriate. John Worthy. So I played a show in Nashville a couple of weeks back with John and a handful of his friends, and their duo show was just fantastic. Let me see. Kiki and John are KJ Wilde. So we played a show together in Nashville. I got to see their duo set a little bit, at least without the band. It was a killer set. I got to meet his bass player, Kid Brother, and a whole lot of other folks. So it was a great show. So without further ado, let's hop into the interview. This is KJ Wilde. Bang, bang, everybody. Welcome to the Weekly Wave. This is Kiki and John Worthy of KJ Wilde. Is that the name of the duo in this iteration today? Or?
That's
it
correct,
is, yeah.
Okay, cool. How long has this been going on?
We have been writing together since like March of 2020, which also correlates to the start of the COVID pandemic.
Yes, kind of like a cataclysmic arrival
so
of a new
if you
friend.
can put two and two together, we were spending a lot of time together, and we started to write and sing some songs.
That's fantastic. Now, you've both been in Nashville for how many years at this point in time?
I've been in Nashville, I think June was 9 years now.
Cool.
Yeah, so I'm almost at the big decade.
Man, and I feel like in town that speaks very highly as to what you're there for and why you've stayed.
Yeah.
You know, like it means something to people.
I think they always said 10-year town. I think it's now like 15 or 20-year town.
Well, it's hard to imagine like the scale that the business has grown there. Mm-hmm. To get your foot in the door, it does take more time because there's just more people entering in a super competitive market.
Right.
Where'd you come from? Are you you're a Pennsylvania kid?
Pittsburgh, yeah.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah,
gross.
so I went to Penn State, and then senior year of college, I was in a band. We made a residency at a bar, and that's kind of when I fell in love with performing. I'd never really been in a band until then, but we did like the 3-hour cover gig thing, and then the singer of that band was like, "Hey man, I think I'm gonna move to Nashville." And I didn't really have any plans post-graduation, so I was like, you know what? That sounds fun. I've never been to Nashville. So we just drove there. I'd never been to Nashville. We picked out an apartment online and moved there, and I've been there ever since.
That's good. Is he still there?
No, he moved.
You outlasted him, dog. That's awesome.
New apartment.
We were in a band together for about 5 years, and then that was the end of that group when he left. So
was it the same band that you kind of brought?
Just he and I, and then we met other people in Nashville.
That's awesome. What was your degree from Penn State?
So I have a finance degree and an economics degree.
That's beautiful.
And I use them quite a bit, like budgeting for touring and all my other stuff for music. So.
Do you use a certain app for all your budgeting?
Excel.
Excel?
Yeah.
What the? So you are a finance major. What's going on with you, dog?
I've gotten Kiki going on it a little bit.
Yeah. It's not. I need to like one of those fun apps that makes budgeting fun because Excel doesn't really work for my brain.
Yeah. Sometimes when I look at an Excel sheet, you get overwhelmed by the grid aspect of it unless you're a pro. Unless you've been taught how to color coordinate and add the ifs and all those things so you just get the information you need.
Right.
I got that cheap and dirty Google Sheets going on.
Nice.
Sheets,
that's technically what I use, but it looks just like Excel.
Okay.
Yeah, don't tell people that.
I don't pay for Excel.
Yeah. I use that David Ramsey $Every app for all the budgeting stuff. And David Ramsey is obviously a pimp, someone that the whole world can look to for financial advice. But, we have a very hectic way of keeping track of what you make in a month. And it's kind of scary to say, I don't know what my fixed expenses versus what's going to fluctuate, especially during the heavy touring months. who would expected gas would have been 475 at the point in time where all of us finally felt comfortable enough again to get back on the road.
Right.
It's like, God damn it, you know?
Right.
Yeah, it was like having from like May through July. It was like having another person in your band.
Yeah.
Covering the gas expenses.
Dude, and what a crazy way to try to rationalize that to your band. Like, I don't know how y'all operate, but I've always kind of been under the impression that the people that play in the band are hired guns. They deserve to be treated well, that they can come and go and do whatever they need to on that. But because of that, they get the fix straight, and I, as the artist, do not. Mm-hmm. So, like, if I go into the red, like, that's on me. Yeah. And it's kind of hard when you're in such a busy working city as y'all are to keep the boat above water in that regard.
Tough. Yeah, we're starting to play more full band shows as KJ Wilde, so we're starting to, experience that as a band.
Yeah, we're doing most of our full band shows have been in Nashville so far, but it would be exciting to take it on the road.
Now you just had that 5-spot show, right?
So that's Saturday.
Gang.
Super excited.
This will probably come out a little bit after that, but hopefully people check it out.
Yeah.
Is there a lot of spillover between band members from like your older projects and?
Yeah. So in our current iteration of the band, the drummer is a guy named Lucas Vincent, and he actually, I was thinking about it, the last time that we played was we did a session for Jam in the Van at 2019, and that was, and then the pandemic hit right before another show was scheduled, so he's now in KJ Wilde, and then John has brought in
Kid Brother,
he's
an amazing bassist.
That's in the Bens or whatever.
And then the keys, we've had keys
rotating
all 3 shows. It's been a different person every time, so we haven't found a consistent person.
There's nothing harder than teaching a keys player the book, though.
It's tough.
Because it's like, with a bass player, it's like, okay, you can kind of assume where I'm going.
Just have your own thing,
Versus like down to the extension, like is it a major 7 or is it a dominant 7?
Yeah.
Do you have an add 9? Like what's going on?
And especially like we're with our music, we created this whole world in the studio, and now it's like, okay, how do we translate that into a live sound? So we're still wanting that like pop synth sound, but we're still playing like it's like rock music at the end of the day when we're on stage, because we're not triggering loops or anything like that at this point. So we really count on that, keyboard utility player to be adding in those sounds that make it sound more like the recorded song.
For sure.
So
I think the key term utility player, it's like we need someone that can kind of fill wherever we had ideas. Like we were talking a little bit before the show started about being a producer of your own works and working with other artists and doing that whole kind of thing. And the world in front of you in a DAW is limitless. But there's a certain reality, like there's a gut check to take that to people, especially if you have fans of the material. And if you're a synth pop band, if this doesn't sound full as fuck, it's kind of weird.
Yeah. Right.
It's crazy how much lift comes along with like the right one keyboard note,
Right. Mm-hmm. I think a nice thing about our songs, and the recordings are pretty heavy on the pop side and, lots of synths and stuff, but they all started on guitar and vocal, just Kiki and I playing around on guitar, and we feel very comfortable just sitting there playing the songs, the two of us. Mm-hmm. So it definitely isn't the same overall complexity when you only have limited options when you're performing live, but I feel like the essence of the song still gets out there when we rock out.
Yeah.
Well, it was so cool to see your show. Is it the basement or the basement east? Where the hell did we play it?
The basement.
Damn it.
The basement OG.
This shit is so confusing.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, so the basement east is in East Nashville, hence East. And
were we not in East Nashville?
We were in like mid.
It's called
Edge Hill.
Okay.
Like south. It's kind of south Nashville.
8th Ave.
12th Ave.
8th Ave. Okay.
It's been there for a while.
Word. It seems like a crusty room.
And they used to have they had a really cool record store above the basement for like 20 years, and then that moved over to the east
Grimies.
side too.
Yeah.
And I actually played a release show there many years ago. At Grimies, yeah.
I think Grimies still has like a record, like they have like a live during the summer they have live performances out in the parking lot.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
But didn't you play New Faces Night at the basement?
Yes.
Okay, so I feel like that's such a cool thing that they do is like every Tuesday free music, up and coming people. So
well, and like a chaotic in a great way kind of a lineup. It's like, Nashville is very far from the country stereotypes that people want to put on for a long time.
Yeah.
And when you get a night like that together, well curated by the community, you can really see that. It's like you have no reason to try to put your thumb on any genre or category, because these are people there trying to be the melting pot of what they listen to. Like,
right.
Do you ever find that, so you're both, individual artists before you're a duo, and you have these moments of like trying to analyze yourself, and you write that bio, you try to put your website together, and you say, who do I sound like that I love? Where does this come from? Within this duo, do you guys pull any of your favorite artists out of each other in that kind of a way?
That's a good question. Yeah, I think that when we're describing what we do together, we do look at the individual pieces and we say, okay, here's these really pop melodic melodies and like almost singer-songwriter lyrics with this like super intense rock and roll energy. And you can see that when we're performing on stage. It's like I've definitely loosened up and stuff, and because I wasn't much performing the last 2 years while we were all kind of stuck at home. John, on the other hand, he was playing. So I mean, that's what you do though. He was playing as much as he was able to, and
endangering the public with his music.
Yeah,
we were all doing it.
PSA. No, and before COVID, he did like 100 dates. So that was his main thing. Whereas before, I've been more focused on like writing songs for music, for TV and film, and top lining and kind of really in that pop realm. And so getting back into performing, it's fun because I'm kind of like the like more chill, sweet side, and then he's over there like hair flipping and like yeah. So it's cool because there is such a juxtaposition of our energies, but somehow it works. So that's really how the music is too,
Yeah.
So.
But there's something really special about like as many times in a week as you might see a new artist or play a show with somebody new. If you can take me from being a fellow songwriter to being a listener to being a fan in that moment. There's something special about what's going on there. You try to figure out like what is the magic in that. And ever since I saw you at Barnstock, like I felt that. Like I was a fan of what you were doing. So to see your guys' show has this this level of connectedness, and what I would really, if I was going to be too analytical about it, I'd say it's the post hooks. It's when you wrap up a chorus that I've had a really fun time listening to, and you deliver me something that I'm going to take into the next chorus and sing with you.
Yeah.
Like guaranteed I can remember that. And everyone's fighting for a little bit of familiarity in the new song. So when you can hit it with not just like a top line and a line that hits so well, but here comes the post hook and I'm involved
just
again.
Like an
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and it's funny because as for songwriting, and I really appreciate that. That's so cool because for me songwriting is my first songs were so dark and so deep and brooding, and it's like my dad, he's a big fan of what we do, and just he's been supportive my whole career, and he's like, why don't you just write something that people can sing along to and clap along to? And then now he's just so happy and that we can write, that he can sing along, and it's really cool to hear someone besides my dad saying that they're singing along to our song.
For sure.
Shout out Matt the Cat though.
Yeah. Well, it was it's great to hear it without all the other instrumentation, all the other utilities that come along with it, because you are just exposed to the song.
Yeah.
And if you're a fan of that, then it's probably because you're a fan of the people. It seems like y'all really do have an intimate chemistry and a care for each other in the songwriting. Like it's therapeutic for all of us.
It's cool.
But the reason that you might have happier material or more feel-good material coming out is because obviously when you two sit down in a room together and you say we're going to write a song, it feels good. It's like there's an intention there to come out with something that represents what a friendship can be in that regard.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a good point, because you have that other person to maybe shy away from the negativity of when you write a song by yourself. You kind of explore the darker side of yourself, and when you're with someone else, you want to make it more positive and fun.
For sure. You can see it in more, like, I don't know if it turns people towards optimism, but there's moments where, like, as a songwriter and as a collaborator, like, I love the opportunity to poke and prod at a friend's idea, especially ones that are inherently kind of painful, because then it becomes, it is therapy. It is an exposure of the self to what the muse is calling you to do with this song. And at some point you might hit the feel-good stride in the song. You're like, okay, maybe I need to bury my head in this mess to come out with this one line that I can write a chorus around and start to feel things out on.
Yeah.
How do you all feel about, you have this project, I'm sure you have a handful of other projects, you also have the commercial music kind of a lifestyle. Where do you make time for your personal writing, just as an individual? Is it 10 minutes in the morning? Is it once a week? Is it once a month?
I think we've both been struggling with that a little bit the last 6 months. I wrote a song last week, and like you said, I just woke up and I decided I'm going to open a notebook and play guitar and just see what comes out, and I wrote a song. So that felt really good. But you get caught up in doing paid gigs and working for other people, and it's fun and it's exciting, but you do kind of lose track of your own artistry at times.
Yeah.
And, we're also trying to push KJ Wilde and get that ball rolling. So hopefully we can, we actually just booked our first put our first session together on the calendar. We've never had to do that.
I mean,
but we have a Kiki and John session this coming Monday.
Yeah. I think that is gonna work well. I mean, I like to have things in the calendar, and if it's not, I mean, we're together all the time, so I might just be like let's just hang out,
Yeah.
So for me, writing, on my own, I'd say it has been a lot more difficult over the last 2 years, and I don't know why, but it's something I am finding my way back to. My glamorous morning routine that I would I want to do every day is wake up and write in my notebook, just free write whatever's coming out of my head, and go for a walk and get my mind right. I kind of tend to wake up in the morning with a lot of weight on me. That's how I feel. I have to sort of do all these things to really start to feel good. But I don't know, the world is just kind of is telling me it's just okay to not have a routine all the time. So
yeah,
I'm just all over the place sometimes, but yeah.
And the willingness to be all over the place that comes along with the job. It is
Exactly.
It's a chaotic occupation.
Yes.
But I definitely feel what you're saying. You wake up in the morning, and I feel like that's the most unedited version of ourselves there is. The moment that you pick up your phone and you start re-interacting with the responsibilities, the concerns for others, or the existential concerns for the world, those are the things that they kind of take away the personal experience in a lot of ways. When you wake up and you're either tormented or uplifted by the weirdest dream that you just had,
yes.
or the best show last night, or whatever your thoughts about what's coming up on your plate. It's before you let the world interfere with that, vomit onto a page. Let's see. The blank page is so scary. How do y'all get over that?
I'm pretty good at just kind of diving into stuff.
As long as I'm not having to say, okay, first thing I wake up, I'm going to write a song. I put no pressure on it to be anything that makes sense. I go back to these random words that constantly show up day after day, and I'm what is it about this word? It's not lyrical, it's not a pretty word. I can't even think of what it would be. It's such a random word, and I'm I don't want to write a song about this, but maybe I need to get out the weird shitty stuff so that the poetry can come, Yeah,
you gotta scratch that. It's just something.
Yeah, you kind of gotta turn on the faucet and let the water run until it's the good stuff. So
for sure.
Yeah.
Stream of consciousness is a crazy thing. Once you hit your stride in a song, isn't that the greatest relief in the world?
Yeah.
Where you've just been beating your face up against it for a little while, and then it clicks. Now, how much do you try to finish before you take it to a live performance realm? You're talking about how they kind of interfere with each other, which I definitely agree with, but yeah.
Is from the studio to the live.
Yeah.
So I think that we're pretty good about if we finish a song, guitar, vocal in the living room, we're let's go play it live before we even take it to the studio.
Yeah.
So that playing live totally informs how we end up recording songs. minus the songs that we just wrote in the studio. But yeah, I think that they inform each other. I think, like, we have this one song that it's finished, but I couldn't tell you, like, the bridge lyrics at all. But, like, I'm down
we have it somewhere on our
to
phone.
listen to a voice note, like, 5 minutes before and be like, let's just do it, you know? Like, that's the fun in it, is like, being brave enough to show those new songs and be like, okay, and what if someone in the crowd is like, hey, I love that song, like, maybe you should, like, chant this thing one more time or something, and you're like, that's a good idea. Like, it's open to, I like having things open to interpretation before it's totally solidified.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we definitely had a group of 8 songs all demoed before we played a show, I would say. Yeah. But
yeah, like a real
we
show.
haven't really started, like, a new song and played it live in the last 4 or 5 months, which we do have that one that you're talking about that we need to play out. So we might do that tonight, actually. We might try some iteration of it.
It's that those risks are so great because, you know, it amazes me if you have your lyrics on your phone, you know, you've been reading these over, doing it in the studio, doing it, then you play it live and you say you flub over a verse. Sometimes you fall into what that line should have been, or like you recontextualize lines based on just like what you needed to get by in the song. And it's crazy how much the subconscious will do for you if you just get in that state of trying it. Are people dancing? Are they feeling it? You know, like they will tell you more than you could ever ask them to tell you. As long as you don't ask them to tell you, because then they get nervous and weird.
Right, as long as you're just paying attention to what's happening. And I think that's interesting, like, with the subconscious, because, like, a big part of my personal songwriting experience is, like, you know, singing melodies, finding melodies, these words that are coming out, they do not make sense. And my favorite part about songwriting is making them make sense. I'm like, I said that thing for a reason. Like, I don't want to backtrack and find something that's extremely logical to fit into that cool melody. Like, I said this random word, I'm gonna fit things around it. Like, so there's that sense too, where I'm like, I think my subconscious or the muse is like, like, chase down those syllables to, like, find the word that matches those syllables, because, like, it's what you are saying. It's not anything else besides what you need to say. Yeah. So I don't know.
Well, where do you think the muse and the subconscious, you know, where do they get this musical inclination? Have you ever really, like, pondered that and found yourself with an answer that feels good enough to leave it, or do you all find that kind of confusing and mystical?
Definitely mystical. I mean, I don't think that the muse necessarily has a musical inclination. I think the muse is an energy, and I'm the one that's like, okay, needs to be the musical part of it. Overall, I'd say, like, writing and words are my connection to the muse over music. Like, I love music, that's, like, my thing, but it's words that come first. And so that's my take, is, like, I don't think the muse is up there, like, playing the keys and the piano and sending that down to me. The muse is sending the poetry down to me, and then it's my job to, like, either play the piano well enough to match to it, or, like, bring John into the room and be like, hey, can you play a riff so I can go over this, you know?
I think it's all out there for the taking. It's just everyone's interpretation, and some people just have more talent and do it better than others, but anyone can really write a song. It's just whatever, you know.
I believe that too.
We do it all the time, so we get better and better at it, and we're able to just pull it out in different ways and make it sound the way we want to. But I mean, if you can play 2 chords on the piano, you can write any song, you know. Like, you don't need a ton of ability to do this.
I think sometimes there's people don't want to feel like they're just getting by, and it takes a level of proficiency on an instrument to admit that, like, I've been overplaying for so long. You know, and there's so many great 2-chord songs, but I think when you're just getting acquainted with the muse for the first time, and you're feeling that spiritual and euphoric idea of, like, okay, this idea is telling me to scratch it. And I have a certain level of skill that I have worked on in my life, so that when this moment hits, I can catch it. I ain't Brian Wilson, you know, like, I don't have that kind of radar up in the world, but, like, I'm gonna catch this in some regard. And the feeling of connecting, like when you do feel like you really grab this out of the air and now you're looking at it in your hand, and maybe the next week someone tells you that song meant something to them.
Mm-hmm.
Like it makes me think that the Muse is more us. You know, it is the part of the ether that makes us sentient together.
Mm-hmm.
And you grab these opportunities to show people that's an us thing. You know, and how much these songs fit in their own lives.
Yeah.
That's cool, yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. You ever feel like a song comes on the radio and you're just looking out your window, you're like, is this soundtracking me right now?
Yes.
Like, I'm back in the movie. Holy shit.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there an album that does that for you?
You know, I have been listening a lot to Arlo Parks, which is, she's from the UK. She's like a newer artist, but she was nominated for best new artist this last year at the Grammys. So she's like making her way, but I don't know, something about her music is very like, oh, I'm the main character. Like I could be like going to the sauna, or I could be like getting high in my room, but I love it. Yeah.
Dude, going to the sauna, listening to the album is too deep. Then you just can't see shit, and your body's just getting rid of all the toxins. You're like, this
exactly.
is heavy.
Yeah. So I mean, she's got very chill music, but yeah, I think I love when that matches up. Like I just drove my car back from the West Coast back to Nashville like 2 weeks ago, so there was a lot of like road trip playlists happening and stuff like that.
And when you're doing a road trip, do y'all prefer albums, songs, or playlists?
I like songs.
Okay.
And albums. John likes books.
Yeah, I don't.
That's understandable. Like,
I've gotten to a weird place where I do music so much, and that's really all I think about, that my only escape is reading and not listening to music.
Yeah.
So it's just
You're
like
tortured.
It's kind of exhausting for me to listen to music now, just like because I'm creating all day, and it's hard for me to just listen for pleasure. I'm always like critiquing and listening objectively
as a producer or something.
So I do miss that a little bit, but yeah, my escape is definitely not listening to music.
It's incredible you do get to that point where like I associate a song with 4 minutes. You know, like I can't listen to this song sometimes in the car because I'm counting 4 minutes on 4 minutes. I am thinking about too much going on. I want a comfort food version of audio entertainment.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with this. So like take me somewhere that could last 4 hours.
We listened to Freebird in the car today. So.
That's like 4 hours.
Kiki had never heard the whole solo.
Really?
No, I've heard it. I just forgot
you asked
the
if
song,
this was still the song.
because I thought I fell asleep and then woke up and it was still the same song.
What if we were being lied to? It's just a medley. Like,
Exactly.
They're like, we got 4 half solos and a sweet verse on the front end. Let's do it, man.
Yeah.
But it's such a shame that a song of that magnitude, of that greatness, is a meme. You know,
right.
it is so disrespected for what is.
I haven't gotten Freebird in a while. It's been in like a year.
I guarantee you, someone in this beautiful Cincinnati is going to give you the Freebird shout out.
Oh, just yell it out in the crowd. Yeah.
And I'm going to give you an extra pair of shoes of mine to throw at these people. You know, because you're ruining the essence of this song by making it this insert dumbass here kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you show me your level of care for the music by thinking this is the only way that you can participate. Like either learn to shake some ass or perk your ears up, because I don't know what you're here for. You know.
How for you, like, how do you deal with that if you're, because you play a lot of shows, different environments, like if you feel like, okay, the crowd's not really like with me, for me, like connecting to the Muse like I am, like how do you kind of like get through that?
I think it depends on the day. Like we're all like subjective to being in our own feels about a certain day or like what's going on, but I'm grateful that I've been playing in bars since I was like 14, so there's certain days where I love a good heckler because I have a microphone. I am going to ruin you. I'm going to say such crazy shit, and I'm going to lead it into one of my songs because you asked for something stupid. You know, and there has to be like there has to be a little bit of grit to it for it to really be fun, and sometimes you need it to be a little bit dangerous. So like say something crazy to someone in the crowd. See if you get a rise out of them.
Right.
You know? Demand something of them because they are here to ask something of you. It's like, okay. If we're both going to step into this, it's going to be on my terms.
Yeah.
And I feel like the looper helps me do that as well because there's something about playing an acoustic and singing where it's like, this is what I have in control. Versus the loop. Set it up for success. Go to the bathroom, grab a shot, get back up there. That loops, like you have so much room just to play with people.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a guy yesterday that asked me to play. There was a Kid Rock show in town yesterday, so they all came from the Kid Rock show to the Banks where I was playing at. They asked me to play all summer long, and then they asked me to play all summer long again. And I was like, you went to a show that you heard this song at. You've heard this song 3 times tonight.
Oh my god.
And they started singing it without me while I was building the loop, and I just cut it. I was like, you son of a bitch. I've been working so hard on this loop. You're going to cut me out the game. But I love that moment of just like, you know, having a really painful human interaction with people.
Yeah.
Because that's something to write a song about, too.
I think that's powerful, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like...
If it's funny, too, like, people enjoy that.
Yeah.
People don't want it to be an easy night on the town.
Yeah, or like, you're like getting all pissed off on stage. And,
Yeah.
Like, you don't want to be shaken like that.
Exactly. You can't let it bother you. But we all do. We all let it bother us at some point.
Yeah.
Like, and Nashville has such different standards of it. Like, if you want to request, put $20 in my hand or in that jar right now.
Yeah.
Like, wow.
I've been to Broadway before, and someone will request Sweet Home Alabama for, you know, they'll say, someone will request it, and the band will be like, $50. Person pulls out a 50, and then they literally put it in the tip jar, and they go, okay, someone just requested a song for $50. We'll not play it for $100. And then someone will give a $100 bill.
Oh
That's
my god.
so
and they don't
wrong.
even play a song.
That's funny.
But it's like part of the
fun
thing of
Yeah.
Broadway now.
It is the bit. And, like, it's ridiculous to think that, like, that's the kind of game you got to play to make a living on that street. But you do. Kiki, where are you from?
I'm from Los Angeles, actually.
Cool.
Yeah, so I went to school out there.
Nice.
Grew up out there, and then I moved to Nashville. It'll be 5 years this month.
Are you a Berkeley kid or would?
No, I went to USC actually, so I'm a Trojan.
Nice.
I studied communications.
Nice.
And I wasn't in the music school there, but I took some songwriting classes, and I kind of took the kids from the pop music program to play in my band.
Nice.
So it was really cool. It was a really cool experience because I was in LA, so I had all this access to real life music industry.
Mm-hmm.
I interned, for someone. I worked at a studio, and I bartered my time at the studio as like an assistant intern for recording time. So
Nice.
I essentially was able to create like a 5-song EP that I released, and that was like my first project, and putting it on Spotify. So I learned, I'd say, like the real world. I wasn't in the classroom, but I was in like, Los Angeles, like kind of figuring it out on my own. But I did when I was going into my second year of college. I applied for the music school because I thought, this is what I want to do. Like, I'm ready. Because I didn't apply going in because I didn't know what I wanted to do when I was going to college. So I almost didn't even bring my guitar at one point. And then a year later, I'm like, I'm going to go to music school. I'm going to be in this top program. And I didn't even get an audition. So I always called myself the underdog.
Yeah. And
You
what a great, if you can take that away from it, you are better off. But there's so many people that are crushed by they're crushed by not getting into academia for music, and they're also crushed by going through it. Like there's a standardization in that, in the same way that Nashville has a standardization on Broadway. It's like, this is how you do things, and this is how those things sound.
Right.
And sometimes when you go too far down the line of this is the well-worn path, you lose the greatest 2-chord songs of all time. And just like the pure, like, I don't know what I need to get this done, but I'm going to get this done because I must scratch that itch.
Right.
Right. And I mean, don't get me wrong, there's tons of people who have gone through that school and have been successful and living in LA. Like, I think that's a great way to do it. And but I mean, for me, like, my first real success getting a song in a TV show was because I got a job at a wedding for a wedding gown designer. I had no business
That's awesome.
doing this because I don't really do much in the fashion world and anything like that. And I was a terrible worker, and I was depressed, and I was looking at my phone the whole summer. So I got fired. And that day I went home, I grabbed my guitar, I went to the beach, I wrote a song called Color Me Blue. And that was my first song that was in a TV show, The Young and the Restless. So I think that really there are so many ways that you can do it, but I'm like, okay, there's something here, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's a great testament to, like, the best way to end up here is to fall hard into a need to make this music, you know? Like, desperation feels a very great thing if it's applied well.
Right.
You know, it's like there's something in the human condition that if you're crazy, maybe you're going to do something sweet, you know?
Yeah.
With that being said, you both live in the biggest music metropolis in the country with the highest rate of competition and maybe like the least amount of gigs for a lot of talented people because of that. What would you say is like your favorite and your least favorite thing about living in Nashville right now?
I guess my favorite thing is just the abundance of people and collaborators to work with, and the fact that everyone's there to do pretty much the same thing as you.
Yeah.
Which is also kind of a double-edged sword, but it's so easy to find a keyboard player or a bass player when you're in need, or find people to write songs with, or to produce your EP or whatever it is. You can find that. There's a million people that do it. I guess least favorite thing, and it's only recent, maybe this is just our judgmental opinion, but it seems like it's kind of becoming like a popularity contest as far as like the cool kids of high school are kind of the ones breaking through the artist scene right now.
No, I know. I said it kind of feels like high school.
Kiki was
a
kind of
bit.
the one that like said that phrase, and it definitely hit.
Yeah.
And I don't necessarily love like their music, but it's just like they're just part of the clique, and it's just like
there's like
for some reason it's blowing up right now. And it's probably me just being jealous, but
well, we're all welcome to be jealous, and like that writes great songs too, but it's really odd when there's such an industry in that city and there are gatekeepers that someone can open up the door and say yes, and suddenly you broke through the glass ceiling.
Yeah.
And I think because there's so much going on there's more of a glass ceiling. It's like, you know, what the three of us all need more than we need a record deal. It's crazy fucking fans. People that love this so much that they say, I'm going to show someone new tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'm going to show someone new after that. And you gain those people one at a time after the gig, you know, in the weirdest parts of the country that you've ever seen. And the high school popular kids aren't willing to do that kind of work.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, those are the kids that have schmoozed their way into a room
that are pulling out QR code on the back of their phone.
Are you talking shit about QR codes?
I
sister?
love
I will
QR
make
codes,
one.
but you know there was an artist after a show. I said, I really like your music. You know, we just played here a couple days ago. We were back at the basement a few days later, and I was like, we just played, like, you know, fellow artists, whatnot. I was like, I'd love to check you out on Spotify, and you know, he wasn't busy, so I thought maybe he would just tell me his name and we could connect a little more, but he just pulled out his phone case, had his QR code on the back of his phone, so very efficient but a little bit impersonal.
It was kind of the way he did it too. He was just like, oh yeah, here.
Like, and then kind of walked away, and I was like, okay, well,
very transactional.
Just so I mean, for me, I was just telling John, like, my love for performing is coming back so strongly. Like, I really look forward to every next show, and I do look forward to making like those new friends. Like, I love meeting like fellow like songwriting women and people that are out there that are like, wow, like, I love what you guys are doing, and I love having conversations with them, and that's I'm uncovering this new joy and power of being able, you know, using that communications degree.
Yeah.
And being like, yeah, I have no problem talking to people and like figuring out what do you do and like what do you like, and telling them about what's next for us. Like, I think that's really a fun part of it. And I agree, like, become so good that they can't look away. Like, become so
Undeniable.
powerful on your own. Like, find those people that, and it doesn't matter who's the gatekeeper. It doesn't matter who's cool, because, like, you built this on your own, you know?
Yeah.
So.
But there's something really special about that. And, you know, when you talk about, like, other female songwriters or people that come from where you come from, any reason to additionally commiserate or empathize or just feel what another person is going through in such like such an innate way, like it makes you reminded that there is an us, there is a we in this. And when someone makes you a transaction of, I'm just trying to get more people on my Spotify, scan this shit, I'm walking away. You know, it's like that's painful.
Like, I'm gonna go unfollow you right now because I just don't feel like connected at all.
Totally, you were counterproductive in this moment.
Yeah, because if it would have taken you 5 more seconds to be like, this is my name, like, oh, what's your name? You know, instead it was like, cool, bye.
Yeah.
You know, so.
And we've all been short with people that we shouldn't have had, for sure.
Totally. I'm guilty of that as well, so.
But it makes it way more special, again, like when you step on a show with strangers, like one thing that I definitely don't get enough in Cincinnati that seems like you can get more of in Nashville is multi-band lineups of people that are trying to be undeniable, that are so relentless about being at their best that you couldn't help but watch with your jaw dropped and then pick your face off the floor and say, I really had a good time watching your set.
Yeah.
You know, and sincerely, thank you so much for helping me put that round together last week. Because I'm an outsider coming down there. There's only so much I can do and ask of people.
Yeah.
And for you to go above and beyond and provide, you know, 2 other acts on top of your own great show made me feel like, okay, there's a reason to be here doing my best, losing money on a gig, you know, understanding that it is by the grace of the highest power in this world that we both love this, that we all love this, and we get to do it together.
Yeah.
And so thank you so much for doing that and for hanging out a little bit today. It's been great to get to catch up with you and get to know you all a little more.
And I'll just put on record, I was talking about it with Kid Brother, who also played that show. We were blown away, and I actually messaged you the day after, like, you are a true master of your craft, man. You're so proficient and
thanks, brother.
Good at amazing songwriter, guitar, and you're unbelievable at looping and percussion and all that stuff, man. It's just it's really cool to watch.
It's great to hear that from friends, because you always hate your own shit, you know? Like, there's no getting around that. But especially when people give you that, like, when you're sitting in the front, when you walk off the stage, you say, I'm going to sit right here and I'm going to watch this. Or, like, during your sets, like, I'm going to get away from these talking people. I'm going to stare at them from 2 feet away. Like, because it was fun at that point. I forgot that I did this while you were doing that.
Yeah.
And that is the freedom we're all looking for. The freedom to let go of your responsibilities, your concerns, your aspirations, and just be there.
Yeah.
God, we're
That's
lucky.
part of it.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Well, thanks again for coming on. Anything else that you want to push?
We are on social media as KJ Wilde Band. And I'm Kiki Halliday. That's my handle. John Worthy Music is John's handle. And we're going to be releasing music this year.
Cool.
So,
any road plans? Any touring?
We're playing Memphis at the end of September.
Cool.
We're doing like 3 different shows. We're playing at the Central Station Hotel. We're playing at South Main Sounds. It's a really cool independently owned record shop.
We're playing in San Diego.
And we're doing like
house show.
Pre-release house show in San Diego the Friday before Labor Day.
Kick ass.
So we just ordered some like custom koozies for the show.
Cool.
So those are, you know, to give away to our new and soon to be fans. So
beautiful.
Yeah.
Do you have another show coming up at Steel Stacks, whatever that club is?
Oh no, that was last week at Music Fest.
Okay, cool.
It's a 10-day festival every year in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. It's the largest free music festival in the country.
That's sick.
And they won the main stage. Is you have to buy a ticket. They get like they had Counting Crows, you know, kind of like people maybe a little past their prime, but you know still
legacy acts.
Nice.
So they have those, and then the rest is just like independent artists, cover bands on these really awesome festival stages, and like they make you feel like a star, you know, for the week.
Well, I mean, like my forever image of you is this picture I saw of you sweating your ass off, holding your 335 above your head. Because like I met this guy, like nice acoustic singer-songwriter, very tame, and the next time I see him, like I can relate to that, okay? Yeah. You are a sweat hog, losing your mind up there.
Oh my god.
So much respect to that, man.
The alter ego of off stage versus on stage is real.
It's such a freedom. It's like you get to be whatever character you want to. Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah. Well, thanks for coming on.
Yeah, and I was gonna say when we release our music under KJ Wilde, it will be also cross-released with Kiki Holiday and John Worthy.
Nice.
So I think it will make it a lot easier for everyone to find. In the meantime, you can check out our individual profiles and then the music will just show up on there, so you won't be far behind.
Nice.
Find them, everybody. Thanks for watching The Wave.
Thank you so
we'll
much
catch you soon.
for having us.
Absolutely.
And that was KJ Wilde, everybody. I hope you dig it. Make sure you look them up online. They got plenty of dates, new music, all the stuff coming towards you. And speaking of dates, I myself am home for a little bit. I am thrilled that I get to spend a couple weeks hanging out in Cincinnati. So let me tell you a little bit about my upcoming schedule. Tonight, I am at the Tin Roof Cincy at 10 p.m. solo acoustic. On Wednesday, me and Nick Hack are going to be at the Blind Squirrel in Florence at 6 p.m. On Thursday of this week, the Recipe and I will be at the Liberty Township, Grassy Center, for a show starting at 6 o'clock, 6 to 9 p.m. On Saturday, I am playing a private event out at Sweetwater Lake in Indiana. This is a closed event on the property, but if you're on the water, you can roll on up. I will put some stuff up about that. Sunday, I'm doing a doubleheader as usual. Every single Sunday night, I got Fishbowl at the Bank starting at 8. But before that, I'm playing the annual up in Mount Adams with Just Strange Brothers. The Recipe will be there in trio form as one of the earlier acts of the day. They got bands like Noah Witherspoon, Just Strange Brothers, and a whole lot of other lovely acts. So if you are invited, come on through. If you're not invited, I don't know what to tell you. Next Monday, I'm at Western Hills Country Club. Next Wednesday, I'm back at the Blind Squirrel Solo Acoustic. Next Thursday, I'm subbing at Fishbowl for my man Brad Martin. And then I got private gigs for the rest of that week. Last one I'll tell you about is September 11th at 2 p.m. I'm playing at Sam Adams over in OTR. I've never played the Sam Adams location, so it should be a great show. Outside of that, there's more dates on the website. There's more info there. And one last quick update. So I am about the 30-day period that I was told that I'd be blocked on Instagram for. Again, I really don't know what I had done to get disabled, but it doesn't necessarily matter. I had sent the appeal process. I didn't hear anything back, so I'm hoping at that 30-day mark I can get back to being active on there. If not, I will probably be stepping away from that platform. But as usual, you can find me here on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, wherever it's convenient for you. Maybe I'll get more into TikTok if this is a definite thing. But who knows? Who cares? The only thing that really matters is you, me, the music, the vibes, the good times, whatever you got to get. So this is another episode of The Weekly Wave. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure you go to YouTube to watch the full version of the interview and more coming. Thanks for hanging, y'all. Peace.